Let's get started. Right, so let's go to the next slide here. A lot of people told me which team they chose, right? 1 second. All right, so in case for those who didn't meet me as yet, my name is Mr. Sinanan. There are two Mr. Sinanans in the free program, A and K. We're obviously brothers. I'm Mr. A Sinanan, Arvind Sinanan. You can just call me Mr. Sinanan or Sir. Anything simple like that. And these are the subjects I will be tutoring you for this summer. All right? So nothing too amazing there. But the more interesting news is this. Everyone put away their calculators. No calculators today. If you use your calculators today, you are defeating the whole purpose of today's exercise. Throw your calculator, obviously you're joking, out your window, put it in your bag, put it in your blender, just don't have it next to you, okay? Great. So everyone take down today's first topic, positive and negative numbers and expressions. Write it, turn to a brand new page in your books and write down that topic. Take a few seconds. The first thing we're going to be doing is try to figure out how to navigate around positive and negative numbers. Because in maths, some numbers are positive and some are negative. Okay? And usually this is the first thing you learn in algebra, which a lot of schools start up as their first maths topic. Not all schools, but a lot of schools do. Right? So, how do you know whether a number is positive or negative? Do not write right now, right? I will tell you when to write and what to write. For the time being, I just needed to pay attention. In maths, a number is either positive or negative. In other words, some have a positive sign and some have a minus sign. Minus and negative, obviously, is basically the same thing. But how do you know whether a number is positive or negative? You always have to look to the left of the number or value. In maths, you not only have numbers, you have plenty letters to deal with, okay? So a number could be positive or negative, or a letter could be positive or negative, right? And like I said, to figure out whether something is positive or negative, you always look to the left of the value, never the right. So everyone just take a look at your left hand. No, just take a mental note of which side your left hand is on, right? Let's start with the first example in the first line here. This 2, if I look to the left, I see a negative sign. So this negative sign belongs to that 2. Right? Wherever that 2 goes, that negative sign will follow it. It's part of the 2. So this 2 is negative 2. Some people instead of saying negative 2, will say minus 2. Sometimes I say negative, sometimes I say minus, right? It's the same thing. It's a bad habit I have, right? This 15, if you look to the left, you will see a positive sign. I know the positive is in between the 2 and the 15, but that's not the rule. The sign will always be to the left of a particular number. So this is actually positive 15. That positive sign belongs to the 15. What about Mr. 14 here? If you look to the left, you see a minus sign. So he is minus 14. If I were to grab the 14, I have to make sure and grab the minus sign also, because that minus sign is part of the 14. And I think you're kind of getting the idea here, right? Positive 9, because if you look to the left here, that positive is part of the 9. And this y, the minus sign is to the left. So this minus sign belongs to the y. So if I'm calling out this value, I can't just say y, I have to say minus y or negative y. You can't leave out the sign in your sentence, when you're talking. There's a big difference between y and negative y. Also, just so that you all know, most letters usually have a number in front of it. You notice this Y does not have a number in front of it. In maths, when you have a letter and no number, the number in front touching the letter is automatically 1. I will be saying that over and over and over. It's just no sane examiner puts in the 1 for you. The 1 is understood. So let me repeat that. Whenever you see a letter in maths and it doesn't have a number next to it, like you see no number touching it, the number is automatically 1. Which raises the next question. If the number is automatically 1, should I physically write in the 1 to remind myself? The answer is yes. I want you to write it in. Right, next one now. The next one has some tricks in it. This 13 here, when you look to the left, you don't see anything. In maths, whenever you see a value with nothing to the left, like you don't see a positive sign or you don't see a negative sign, it is automatically positive. You need to write in the positive. The examiner sometimes just forgets out the sign. If he forgets out the sign to the left, it is automatically positive. This 2 over here, this is a trick question. You notice that the negative sign is closer to the 13 and it's very far away from the 2. I wrote it like that on purpose. Sometimes people have bad handwriting, right? Sometimes people have bad handwriting. And, things don't line up properly. So the question is, does this minus still belong to the 2? Because this 2, if you look all the way to the left, the minus sign is to the left, right? It's just very far away. So the answer is yes. This minus sign belongs to the 2. Even if I wrote it far away, it's still minus 2. That minus sign belongs to the 2. If the 2 decides to take a walk, the minus sign has to go with him. This X is positive because if I look to the left, it's positive. And of course, the X is by himself. You don't see a number. So he's automatically 1X. The minus sign for this 15 is to the left. So that number is not 15, but rather minus 15. Like I said, I will make it very, very clear when to write down things, guys. Okay, I see some of you all are reaching late to class. Try not to do that. From next week, I'm locking the class at 9:05, right? You have to be, and I will lock the YouTube chat entry as well, right? You need to be on class on time. You miss the beginning, everything falls apart from there, right? So do the responsible thing. Here's what you need to do, guys. Take down this note first. I put in first and then take down this. And I want you to write it down exactly how I have it. If I circle something and put an arrow, you do the same thing. Okay? Let me know when you guys are finished on taking down the note, and we'll move on to the next slide. Somebody had a good question, right? I didn't get a chance to check all the questions, right? The number 0, like if I have 0, 0 is a special number in maths. 0 is not actually positive or actually negative. So what happens, like if you have a question is with 0 in it, the truth is, if you have the number 0 and you see 0 and you don't see a sign, you could either put a positive in front or you could put a negative to the front, to the left. It really doesn't matter whether you put a positive or a negative. Now, since it doesn't matter whether you put a positive or a negative for 0, right? It doesn't really matter. In this class, if I see a 0 in an equation or a question and I have other numbers and things, I will put the positive, rather than the negative. Why? Because a positive sign just makes it look easier to deal with. Nobody here likes a negative sign. Everybody is more prone to liking a positive sign, right? It seems more friendly. So I'm letting you know that if I see a 0 in a question and I have no sign, just put a positive in front to the left and just get it over with, okay? It won't make a big difference. Right? So we're going to be doing addition and subtraction of positive and negative numbers. I want to clear up something. I want to hear everyone's opinion in this. So a lot of people may have heard this in school. Do two negative signs or two minus signs? Do two minus signs make a positive? Do two negative make a positive? It's a very popular saying in maths. Two negatives make a positive. And of course, real people going to say what? Yes. Today, you're going to learn that that very popular thing is wrong. Stranger, some of y'all are saying, so you're lying, right? You're going to realize that you should stop saying that two negatives make a positive. It's not really true, okay? The real thing is two negatives make a positive only sometimes, not all the time, only sometimes, okay? So some of y'all are probably asking yourself, but when is that sometimes? Well, in addition and subtraction, you see, there are four things you could do in maths. Maths is based on four things: adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. And you all know that from primary school. You can add, you can subtract, you can multiply, and you can divide. So those are the four basic functions of maths. You see, addition and subtraction have completely different rules to multiplication and division. And a lot of people don't make that distinction. In addition and subtraction, I guarantee you, two negatives do not make a positive. They do not. And you're going to see that in class today. Okay? You're going to see that happening today. So everyone take down this topic, addition and subtraction. Just at the top of your page, addition and subtraction. Right? All right, let's go. Right. So do not write anything as yet. Let me explain everything, and then I'll tell you what to write. Here are the rules for addition and subtraction. Instead of subtraction, I know some people say minusing. Like instead of saying let's minus the two numbers, some people say subtraction. Obviously, subtraction and minusing is the same exact thing, okay? Remember, I just showed you all, everything has a sign. Every number could either be positive or negative, and you always look to the left to identify whether it's positive or negative. When we're doing addition or subtraction, if the two items have the same sign, look at rule number one. If two of them have the same sign, like if one is positive and the other one is positive, or if one is negative and the other one is also negative, you have to add. You'll get used to the rules just now, don't worry. The second rule is, if same signs mean add, well then different signs will be minusing. So if one has a positive and the other one has a negative, you have to minus. Rule number 3, I put it in a red rectangle. When you finish, do rule 1 or rule 2. You always apply rule 3. You always put back the sign of the larger value, right? Or the larger number. It's like in a fight, the bigger person, not all the time, I know, but in the majority of the times, in a fight, the bigger or stronger person will win, right? And You got to be very, very careful when you're adding or subtracting. Remember, I told you in maths, it have letters. It have like X and Y and A and B. For you to do an addition or subtraction question, both items that you are trying to add or subtract must have the same letter. If one have X, the other one must have X. If one have Y, the other one must have Y. If one have no letter, the other one must have no letter. For you to proceed to even think about addition or minusing. If both of them have different letters, the question shuts down. You can't do nothing in the question. So here's what I need for you all to do. For the time being, take down these rules. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Take down the rules only. Write it real neater, and you see how I box off number 3? Box it off too, because number 3 is super important, and most people tend to forget it. So I want you to box it off. So it keeps reminding you, hey, always do rule 3. Keep your eye on rule 3, always. Let me know when you finish writing down the note only. Questions? Don't worry, the rules are remaining on the screen. So I want everyone to write down the first question. The red one. Let's say somebody asks you to work out that question for $20. They say, if you could work out -5 minus 4 without a calculator, I'll give you $20. Okay? Write it down. -5 minus 4. The first thing we should do is identify the signs. Now, this 5, if you look to the left, you see a minus sign. And this 4, if you look to the left, you will see what? A minus sign. So I think it's fair to say that both of them are negative. Both of them have a negative sign. Let's look at the rules. This situation applies to rule 1. Doesn't rule 1 say same signs mean add? I know you all see negative signs here, so you'll be tempted to minus, but that's not the rule. The rule says if both of them are negative, you add. So here's what I want you all to do now. Using rule 1, ignore the signs now. You already realize you're using rule 1. Imagine a 5 and a 4 in your head. Forget the signs, 5 and 4. The rule says add the two numbers. 5 plus 4 is 9. I'll just put in an equal sign here, right? 5 plus 4 is 9. Now, run to rule 3. Always put back the sign of the larger number. Which one is larger, 5 or 4? Obviously, 5 is larger than 4. Look to the left. Who belongs to the larger number, which happens to be 5? A minus sign. Always put back the sign of the larger value at the end of the question. So if the 5 has a minus, you put a minus. So the final answer is minus 9. I want to point out something that I pointed out a few minutes ago. Remember, I told you in maths, 2 negatives do not always make a positive. Remember, I said that? A lot of people grow up hearing 2 negatives make a positive. But you all realize that this addition and subtraction question, right? It had 2 minus signs. The 5 had a minus. The 4 had a minus. Did my final answer come out positive? No. The answer came out negative. In addition and subtraction, 2 negatives do not make a positive. Addition and subtraction have a different set of rules to multiplication and division. Everyone take down the first answer. And then I want some of you all just try. You don't have to get it correct. You just have to try. I want you all to try the yellow question without a calculator and send the answer on the chat. The attempt is everything. I don't care about right and wrong right now. I care about you trying to send an answer on the chat. Okay? Take a few seconds to work out the yellow one. Now, this question, let's look at it. This 5, if you look to the left, is negative. And this 2, if you look to the left, it is positive. So it seems the 5 is a minus and the 2 is a positive. Isn't that rule number 2? Don't they have different signs? Rule number 2 says if two things have a different signs, different, and positive and negative are different, you have to minus. So I want you all to imagine a 5 in your head and a 2 in your head. Forget the signs now. We know we have to minus. Imagine 5 and 2 in your head. Minus 5 and 2. Obviously, if you minus 5 and 2, you're going to get 3. But then you run to the real important rule, the one in the rectangle. Number 3, always put back the sign of the larger number. Who is larger, 5 or 2? Obviously, 5 is larger. What sign does the 5 have? He is carrying a minus sign. So you put a minus sign. At the end of the question, you have to put back the sign of the larger value. The green one, let me just give you a little start off on the green one. Write it down, 8 minus 12. That's the green one, 8 minus 12. Right. Now, remember I told you all, the sign is always to the left. This 8, when we look to the left, we don't see anything. It's blank, but I cleared up that already in class. When you look to the left and you don't see a positive or a negative, it is automatically positive. So I want you all to write in the positive. I know some people will say, I'm just going to imagine the positive. Please don't do that. Ink is cheap. Write in the positive. Don't ever try to imagine something in maths. If you know something's supposed to be there, write it in. Okay? Always, always. So anybody wants to tell me which rule we will be using for the green one? Rule 1 or rule 2? Which one applies to the green one? Rule 1 or rule 2? Which one applies? Send the answers on the chat. Let me see. Right, it's obviously going to be rule 2 because the 8 is positive and the 12 is minus. Remember, we look to the left to figure out the sign. Don't they have different signs? The green one is positive, one is negative. They have different signs. So different signs mean minus. So everyone, imagine an 8 and a 12. $12 and $8 in your head. Minus 12 and 8. Right? You just do your normal primary school subtraction. You see 12 and 8 in your head, minus. I know if I take 12 and minus 8, I'm going to get what? 4, right? Which one is bigger? We have to go to rule number 3. Is 8 bigger or 12 bigger? I know 12 bigger than 8. What sign does the 12 have? If you look to the left, a minus. So you put back the sign of the larger value at the end of the question. Your final answer is minus 4. Okay? Everyone do the blue question for me and send your answer. Let's see if everyone can get the blue one correct. Right? Now the blue one, 21 is a minus and the 8 is a positive. We look into the left. So it's rule 2 again. They have different signs, right? 21 has a negative, the 8 has a positive. Different signs mean minus. So imagine a 21 and an 8 in your head. Minus, the rule said we have to minus. 21 minus 8 is 13. And you always, always, always have to put back the sign of the larger value. Obviously, 21 is larger than 8. What sign does the 21 carry or have? A minus. The final answer is minus 13. Now, I know some of you all are going to ask about number 4. You notice I didn't touch rule number 4 as yet. Rule number 4 is when letters begin to appear in the question, right? You notice all 4 questions on the screen here, they don't have any letters, right? So eventually we'll reach the letters. We'll reach the letters questions, and then I'll show you how to apply rule number 4 for a situation like that. Okay? So I hope everything made a certain amount of sense today. The good news is I don't expect everyone to understand everything 100% on the first runner. That's why we have class recordings. Sometimes you don't catch it in class. You catch 60 or 70% in class, and that 30 or 40% is missing. Not a problem. That's normal. When you get a chance and you're calm, watch back the recording and make notes again. And you'll realize, wait now, everything will fall into place. I'm a person like that. I cannot, when I was in school, and I still like that, right? I can never catch something on the first run. Never. Right? So I always had to revise or read something once, put down the book or whatnot, and then a couple hours later or a day later, I pick up back the book, and then it just makes sense in my head. That's just how some people are made up, like me, right? Let's move on, right? All right, so let's get started. Remember that team you had to choose? So here's what, for those who don't know the rules, right? If you chose the red team, you can only choose what? You can only collect red gems. If you're on the yellow team, you can only collect yellow gems, and so forth, right? So everybody at the beginning of class chose a team color. You're stuck with that team. So let's read the rules here. The green team, look at the alligator. The green team gets to choose 3 numbers. Everyone else gets to choose 2. So everybody who's on the red, yellow, and blue, choose 2 numbers, the numbers from 1 to 12. Green team, they got a little preference for this round. Choose 3 numbers, and then we'll see what is behind each of your chosen numbers. I hope you are able to get gems of your particular team color and keep track of how much you have. Let me know in the chat, guys. Let me know your choices. I'm always interested in reading what you there. Get some. Collect how much gems there. I hope you got gems of your team color. All right? And for those who didn't get any, keep your eyes on this treasure chest here. I'm feeling sorry for some people. Let's see what's in the treasure chest. In the treasure chest, it have a red, a green, and a red, a green, and another red. So if you all, in addition to your chosen numbers, if anybody is on the red team, you get 2 red gems. If you was on the green team, you get 1 extra green gem. Give me a total, guys, of how much gems you got in your particular team so far. Somebody got 3. That's real one. 3 green gems. All right. Let me know in the chat how much gems you have. Let's get it in on the recording here. Try these 4 questions and send your answers on the chat. Red question. This 10 is obviously positive if you look to the left, but the 17, if you look to the left, you do not see a sign. When you don't see a sign, it is automatically positive. So you're physically writing a positive. It says here, same signs mean add. Well, one is positive and the other is positive. Both of them have the same kind of signs. So we add. So imagine 17 and 10 in your head. 17 plus 10 is 27. And the green rule, you always put back the sign of the larger value. 17 is obviously larger than 10. The 17 carries are positive, so the answer is positive 27. I want you to physically write in the positive in the 27. I know if you don't put a positive sign in your final answer, and you look to the left, it is automatically positive. But I don't want you imagining the positive, writing the positive, right? Be real complete today. Yellow question. This 24 is a minus. If you look to the left, the 18 is the same trick. The 18, when you look to the left, you don't see anything. So it's automatically positive. I think this is rule number 2 now, right? Rule number 2, different signs mean minus. And they're different. The 18 is positive. The 24 is negative. Different signs mean minus. All right, so imagine 24 and 18 in your head. Minus it. You're going to get 6. Which one is bigger? 18 or 24? 24. What sign does the 24 carry? A minus. You always put back the sign according to rule 3 of the bigger value. Green question. Well, this one should be easy because all the signs are there. When you look to the left, both of them are negative. According to rule number 1, same signs mean add. All right, 8 plus 3, 11. Always put back the sign of the larger value. Who is larger, 8 or 3? 8. What sign does the 8 have today? He's carrying a minus, so put a minus. Last question. Blue. To T is a minus because we're looking to the left, but the 2, look to the left, you don't see anything. So I'm going to put in my positive sign. I think this is rule number 2. Different signs mean minus. So T and 2, minus it. You're going to get 28. Always put back the sign of the larger value, according to rule 3. Who larger, 2 or T? T. What sign does the T carry? Minus 28. How much people got all correct without my assistance? And of course, without a calculator. Let me know in the chat. Or you can just, or you can raise your hands now for this one, right? For those who just want to raise their hands, right? Let's go. All right. Here's what I want everyone to do. I want everyone to write down the red question for me and send the answer. The red question. 9x, you notice the letters coming up now, right? How much is 9x plus 17? Still take a chance and send an answer. I just want to see how much people can get it correct. So I'll know how to navigate through the question, right? Right? Just take a chance, send the answer for number 1. A lot of people are going to say the answer is 27 or something like that, right? Because you see 9 and a 17, right? The answer to that question is that question cannot be worked out. Look at this is, remember, when letters are involved, give number 4 a read. Letters, now we're dealing with addition and subtraction. This is not multiplication and division. Addition and subtraction have totally different rules than multiplication and division. According to rule number 4, letters must, well, I'll leave out the word be, but letters must be exactly the same to add or minus. I know this 9, if you look to the left, it has a positive, right? I know that, right? You can put in the positive, nothing wrong with that. But you notice the 9 has an X and the 17 does not have an X. For this question to be possible, both of them must have no letters, or both of them must have the same exact letter. One have X and one doesn't. This question cannot be worked out. In fact, the answer remains the same, 9x plus 17. That cannot be simplified. That cannot be worked out. So the answer is you just write back the same exact thing, 9x plus 17. There is nothing to do in that question. You should be happy, right? Well, how often you get a math question and the answer is do nothing? You should celebrate, right? So everyone write down the answer for the red one. Nothing can be done for that question, according to rule number 4. Let's try the yellow question together. The yellow question is minus 3y minus 28y. So it have letters. But the good news is the minus 3 has the letter y and the 28 has the letter y. So it is possible to do this question. Both of them have the same type of letters. Whenever the two letters are the same, it just means it's possible to do the question and you do the question as normal. So pay attention to the values, the 3 and the 28. Both of them are minus signs. Both of them are negative. According to rule number 1, if the signs are the same, and we have to go ahead to work out the question because the letters are the same, right? If the signs are the same, we add. All right. Imagine 28 and 3 in your head. 28 and 3. Add 28 and 3. You're going to get 31. And then you always put back the sign of the larger value. Obviously, 28 larger than 3. Put back the minus sign. And since it has the letter Y, quick question. When you're adding or subtracting, you see how we have the letter Y written more than once? Do we have to write back the letter Y twice? Or do we just have to write back the letter Y once in the final answer? When you're adding and subtracting, if the letter appears more than once, like 3Y, 28Y, you only write it back once. You only write it back once. You don't write YY. All right? Only once in your final answer. I want you all to do the green question for me and the blue question and send the answer on the chat, please. The green one, I tried to trick you. You notice this has an X. Well, this Y doesn't have a number, but automatically it's 1. Not like it's going to make a big difference, right? One has an X, one has a Y. Both of them have letters, but ask yourself, are the letters the same? Are the letters the same? No, one is X and one is Y. You can't do nothing with that question. The answer remains the same, right? You can put the 1 by the Y if you wish, right? It won't make a difference whether you leave out the 1 or put the 1. The 1 is understood. So green one was a trick question. The blue question, right? The 17 is negative and the 13 will obviously be positive because when you look to the left and you don't see anything, it's positive. Are the letters the same? According, yeah, the letters are the same. 13 have a A, 17 have a A. You have the green light to go ahead to do the question now. According to rule number 2, if the signs are different and the signs are different, the 13 is positive, the 17 is negative, it means the minus, right? So you're seeing 17 and 13 in your head. Minus 17 and 13. You're going to get 4. Who's bigger? The 17 is bigger. The 17 is carrying a negative sign. Always put back the sign of the larger value. And the letter involved, you only write it once. Only once. I'm going to put a note here. Write A once. Right? Take down what you got wrong. And we're going to be moving on in half a minute. I don't think you need a full minute for this, right? Because you all would have been writing down the questions, at least when you were trying to work it out. Right? Once again, for those who want to come across the Zoom platform, feel free. A space for 200 people. Let's go. All right. So here you have to choose a chest, right? Either you're going to choose the orange chest or the blue chest, chest 1 or chest 2. Each chest has a certain combination of gems. Let me know which one you all choose, right? Choose one, Let's see if they get lucky. Orange chess, chess 1, has 4 red and 6 blue. So if you are on the red team or blue team and you choose the first chess, grab the gems of your particular color. And for those who chose chess 2, let's see, it has 4 green and 4 yellow. So if you were on the green or yellow team and you chose the blue, well, things work out good for you. All right? Grab the gems and total up how much gems you have so far, right? Remember, you cannot grab gems of a different team color, obviously, right? That's why everything is color. Red belongs to red, blue belongs to team blue. So do a count up, do a count up. Somebody, people are still on 0 gems. Life hard, life just real tough. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Sorry, guys. For those who have 0 gems, don't count yourself out of the game so far, right? Don't count yourself. You have plenty more opportunities to collect gems. Right. Write down this question. This question looks a bit scarier. It's no longer 2 numbers. Do we have a question with 5 numbers? How would you get the answer to this particular question? You write it down and I working out this one for you, right? I working out this first question. Take a 10 seconds, write it down. No matter how smart you are, right? I don't care if you're gonna win 10 Nobel Prize next year, right? You can only process 2 values at a time, right? No matter what. So if you're seeing 5 values on the screen, 7, 10, 2, 6, and 11, it have no way you could pay attention to all 5. You can only pay attention to 2. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing 2 at a time. So let's put in some of the signs that are missing. We know the 10 is negative, the 2 is negative, but the 7, when you look to the left, you don't see anything. So we know what to do by now. Everyone put in the positive by the 7. Everyone put in the positive by the 7. Don't imagine it. And we're going to be focusing on pairs 2 at a time. So here's what you're going to do. Now, when you're circling a value, you have to circle the sign. The sign is part of the value. So what we're going to do is pay attention to the first 2, then the next 2, and well, the 11 have no friends, right? Like we pairing up what could be paired up. So the 7 could be paired with the 10, the 2 could be paired with the 6, but the 11, he have nobody to pair up with. But that's okay. We'll just leave he for last, okay? We're going to work out the circle part, and then we're going to work out the rectangle part. 2 at a time. So let's pay attention to the 7 and the 10, the circle. Well, the 7 is positive and the 10 is negative, and it have no letters and thing here. They seem to have different signs. So the circle is rule 2. Different signs mean minus. So you see that 10 and a 7 in your head. Minus it. 10 minus 7 is 3. And you always put back the sign of the larger value. Who larger, 7 or 10? 10. And the 10 is carrying a negative sign. Everyone take down up to there. Write it exactly how I have it with my circle, my arrow, everything, right? Right, so when we simplify the 7 and the 10, we get minus 3. When we squish those 2 values together, we get minus 3. Let's do the next one. -2 plus 6, right? The rectangle. The signs are different. The 2 is negative. The 6 is positive. So that's rule 2 again. So imagine 6 and 2 in your head. Minus it. You're going to get 4. Who is bigger, the 2 or the 6? The 6. Always put back the sign of the larger value. So we put positive. And now Mr. -11, who has no friends, comes and joins the party. All right? Don't worry. He'll get a friend eventually. Write everything like how I have it. The square, the rectangle, and the circle, we simplify. So we started off with 5 values. Now we have what? 3. We start with our pairs again. So let's circle the first pair. And unfortunately, Mr. -11 has no friends again, but he will get a drop down eventually, right? Let's work out the -3 and the 4. -3 plus 4. Well, signs are different again, so it's rule 2. It seems like we're using rule 2 plenty. Signs are different, so we minus. Imagine 4 and 3 in your head. You're going to get 1 if you're minus. Who bigger, 3 or 4? Put back the sign of the larger value. And now -11 joins the party. So when we squish the -3 and 4 together, we get +1. Take down up to there. We're almost done. Almost done. You notice we start off with 5 and now we're down to 2, right? Just the 1 and the 11, right? Let's finish off this question, right? The 11 finally gets a friend because it only has 2 numbers at the end, right? So those 2 will naturally become a pair. The 1 is positive, the 11 is negative. Oh no, it's rule number 2 again. It's just coincidence that we had to use rule 2 right through for this question. Huh? It's just coincidence, right? Signs are different, so we minus 11 and 1 in your head, minus it. You're going to get 10. Who is bigger, 1 or the 11? 11. What sign does the 11 carry? -10. The final answer is -10. Okay? That's the final answer. Remember, only work 2 at a time. Good luck with this question. It's 5. Boil it down to 1. Obviously, no calculators, right? You use a calculator, you're defeating the whole purpose of today's class. Okay? Great. 2 at a time, right? That's how we do it, right? So circle here, rectangle here. Don't ever attempt to... I know some of you are going to be like, okay, I'm going to imagine 3 at a time. 2 at a time. Like I said, it don't matter how smart it is. The most you could do is 2 at a time, right? Because that's just to answer a few questions I get in there. Right. Let's do the circle first. -5 minus 13. That's rule 1. Both of them are negative. They have the same signs. Okay? Same signs mean add. 5 plus 13, I believe that's 18. And you put back the sign of the larger one. 13 larger than 5, he's carrying a minus. Work out the rectangle. -5 plus 1. 1 is minus, 1 is positive. That's rule number 2. Different signs mean minus. I've seen 5 and 1 in my head. Minus it. I'm going to get 4. Who is larger, the 5 or the 1? You always put back the sign of the larger value. The 5 is negative. Make sure I put the negative sign to the left of the answer. And well, number 6 now, not just 6, positive 6, comes down to join the party, right? But he still doesn't have any friends as yet, right? He'll get a friend soon enough, right? That's a terrible color there. I'll just use black, right? So we pair up the 18 and the -4. Signs are the same. 18 is negative, 4 is negative. Add it. Because same signs mean add. You're going to get 22 if we add. The 18 is larger. Put back his sign, which is negative. Positive 6. Ah, Mr. Positive 6 finally gets a friend. Hello, friend. Hello, 6. All right. So signs are different. 22 is negative. 6 is positive. Rule number 2, you have to minus. 22 minus 6 is 16. Who is bigger? The 22. He carries a minus sign. Real people got it correct. The final answer is minus 16. Right? Look for your mistakes. Like I said, you get it wrong. Now is the time to make your mistakes. Just figure out where you went wrong. Look, skim through the working. Do a mental correction. Take down the correcting. Call it a day. Right? Take it as a win. Next slide. Next slide. All right. So we have some. Oh, here's how it goes. The blue and green teams. Oh, it has some preference for blue and green. The blue and green teams gets to choose 2 superheroes. Everybody else, unfortunately, red and yellow, only get to choose 1 superhero. Choose, let me know on the chat. So it seems to have some preference going for blue and green ones there. Let me know which superhero or the hero. Obviously, choose your favorite, like we are taking. Great. Good luck, guys. Those are the gems. Start grabbing gems, guys. Start. Let's see if you get lucky. Right, give me a total of how much gems you got, right? Somebody has 16. I think that's the highest so far. Oh no, look at this question. For those who didn't have gray hair, you will get some at the end of this question. Take down this question. It not only has numbers, it have letters. But to make it even worse, it have different types of letters. Some have X, some have Y, right? Take it down and we're going to work through this one together. Right? When you're folding clothes, right? I don't know if you all fold clothes at home, right? I personally don't fold clothes anymore. I just throw all my clothes on a table or on an unused couch or unused bed. When I want something, take my hand and I sift through. But we all know that's not that is what a lot of people do, but that's not what you're supposed to do. When you have a basket of clothes and you have different clothes and you're supposed to put all these socks together and you're supposed to put all your jerseys together. In other words, similar clothes, you group them together. Same thing in maths. If you're seeing different types of letters like X and Y, do yourself a favor. Don't do like me and throw all on the bed. Put all the X's together, like physically move all the X's to one side, physically grab and move all the Y's to another side, and everybody without letters, move them to a different position. You call that grouping similar items. You're grouping similar things together. So here's what I do, and I still do this up to now. In school, I used to come up with my own symbols. I would circle all the X's. I would box off all the Y's. I would underline the things with no letters. You could come up with your own symbols. But be real careful. Huh? You see, when you're circling or highlighting a value, make sure and highlight the sign as well. Remember, a sign belongs to a value. You won't like it if somebody move you and leave your hand behind. You want your hand to go with you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to circle all the X's. and a circle in the signs. Everyone circle all the x's for me. You notice the minus sign in the 3 gets circled, and the positive sign with the 12 also gets circled. So circle everything with an X on it, exactly like how I have it. Right. So that should be the X's, okay? How about we box off all the Y's? So I will put a rectangle or a little square around the Y's. Just come up with your own different symbols, okay? I noticed, and I know I keep saying it over and over, but I wanted to stick in your head, right? The signs have to be put in the symbol. And now, how about everybody without a letter, a parallel squiggly line underneath, that -7 and that +8. So from a distance now, we could spot the similar items. Everybody who circle is X's. Everybody who have boxes is a Y. Squiggly lines have no letters. Let's move the similar items together. I'll color code it, right? Everything with X I'll write in blue. Everything with Y's I'll write in yellow, and so forth. So here's what I'm going to move everything with X. Oops, sorry about that. Right. Let's get blue here. Right. -3x plus 12y. I drag all the x's to the left-hand side. Then I'm going to drag all the y's to the middle. +8y minus 1y, so they can be close to each other. And then greens, -7 plus 8. Everybody with me so far? All the blue, I'll drag them to the left. All the pinks, I drag them to the middle. And all the greens, I drag them to the right. So that way we group in them. Everybody who have a similar type of letter right next to each other. Right? Somebody say, I mean, oh, yeah, I mean, a mistake. Sorry, guys. Yeah. The Y here, the 12 is supposed to be X. Great. Thank you for pointing out that mistake. Thank you. All right. I think Mr. J pointed that out. Thank you. Right. So here's what we're going to do, guys. You're going to work out in pairs now, right? The blues, let's work it out. Circle the 2 of them. Remember, we can only handle 2 at a time, right? The letters are the same. One has X, the other one has X. So we have the green light to go ahead and do the question, right? Signs are different. One is negative, one is positive. Different signs mean minus. 12 and 3 in your head, you're going to see 9. Put back the sign of the larger one. 12 is larger than 3. And you write back the letter X once. You see, I put back the X once. I didn't write it back XX. Let's work out the pinks, but the Y's, right? Signs are different. One is positive, one is negative, but the letters are the same. So we have to go ahead to do the question, right? Signs are different. So according to rule 2, we minus. 8 minus 1 is 7. Who is bigger? The 8 is bigger. Put a positive sign. Put back the letter once. The greens, the guys without any letters, right? Signs are different again. That's rule 2. Different signs mean minus. 8 minus 7 is 1. Put back the sign of the 8 because he is larger. This is the end of the question. You see how I write the question in one straight line? You know why this cannot be simplified anymore? Because my final answer one has an X, one has a Y, and one doesn't have any letters. All 3 of them different. So the question, according to rule number 4, cannot move any further. Now, I know somebody is going to ask, and let me clear this up one time, right? Doesn't matter if I put the X's first. and the Y second and the green last. No, if you wanted to do the pinks first, like the Ys first. In other words, if the answer came out mixed up like this, like it had the positive 7Y, like you work out the pink part first, and then the X's after, and then you just decide to do the green one last again. This answer is also correct. Eh? You can have the answer in any order. Just make sure you have the signs correct, the number correct, and the letter correct. The order of which the final answer is arranged is not important. Okay? Right? I always get that question every single time I do this topic. Okay? But I just let you know, X comes before Y, and I'm just accustomed growing up, like doing the X's first, then the Y's, and then who don't have letters, I do them last. Okay? How that went? Any gray hair? Any gray hair on that end? Any gray hair? Right? So here's your practice question. Put all the A's together, put all the B's together, and then everybody without a letter, put them last. Because A comes before B, I would prefer if you do the A's first. Take a 5 minutes. Right? So make sure you circle everything. I'm going to circle. Oh, this 7 is positive, so I should write. Yeah, I hope you all remember to write in the positive. Circle all the A's. It have 3 sets of A's. And you notice I didn't forget the signs. Huh? The sign to the left belongs to the number. Please don't make that mistake and just circle the number and the letter. Put a box off by the B's. And everybody without a little squiggly line underneath the -3 and the -1 because they have no letters. Just doing a little piece. I want to put all the A's together. Positive 7A minus 13A plus 5A. Put the B's together. Minus 2B minus another 2B. And you have -3 and -1. So I hope everyone at least have up to there. For the blue, for the A's, remember, you can only pay attention to 2 at a time. For the blue, right, you can only handle 2 at a time. So the 7 and the 13. Signs are different. The 7 is positive, the 13 is negative. That's rule 2, right? It's say minus if the signs are different. All right, you got 13 and 7 in your head. I think that for some reason I 6, sorry. That's 6 if you're minus. Don't forget to put back the letter A once, and you put back the sign of the larger one. 13 is larger. And then you have the positive 5A here. We'll get to him just now, right? The 5A joins the party. What about the pink here? This is a kind of unusual case because the signs are the same. Same signs mean add. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Don't forget to put back the letter B once. But you always have to put back the sign of the larger value. But 2 is the same size as the other 2. Whenever both of them have the same size, it doesn't matter who you choose, right? It doesn't matter. But both of them have a minus sign. So anybody you choose, you will get the minus. Right? -3 minus 1. Signs are the same. You add. 3 plus 1 is 4. Put back the sign of the larger one. 3 is larger. We almost finished. And we could still do this part here. The -6A plus 5A. It's possible to simplify that part. It's possible. So both of them have A. Signs are different. When signs are different, that's rule number 2. Minus. 6 and 5 in your head. Minus, you'll get 1. Put back the letter A once. Put back the sign of the bigger, which is 6. And then you put the -4B, and then you put the -4. This cannot be simplified because the final answer you're looking at on the screen there, right? right? Because one has a A, one has a B, and one doesn't have any letter. That's your final answer, right? Okay. So I'm looking through the chats and whatnot. Not everybody got it correct, but people were close. Most people were close to the correct answer. I know it's close to the end of class, guys. I know, but let's give me a few moments, right? All right, we're gonna take a team vote here. Now, the people on YouTube, we're not gonna be able to vote, right? But you can send for what you think on the chat. Here's how it works. Let's take a class poll. The color that wins the poll gets an extra 8 gems. The second highest gets 4 gems. The rest of the team don't get any gems. Let's take a vote now. Let's see which team color was the most popular and the second most popular. Right? I hope I can hear it here, right? Vote, guys, vote. Let me see who wins. The most popular team gets 8 gems. Second most popular gets 4 gems. On YouTube, let me know which team you vote. Right? Oh, it's very, very close, guys. Very, very close. I personally like the green and blue team. That's my colors, right there. Might go with the blue. I'm not too sure who I like more. Blue team. 10 more seconds and we close the polls. 10 more seconds. Put in your votes, guys. Put in your votes. All right, so we're going to be closing the votes and I'm going to share the results on Zoom. Only the people on Zoom are going to be able to see the results. That's why I encourage everyone to come on the Zoom platform. End poll, let's share the results. It seems that the most popular team is the blue team. So blue team, you get 8 extra gems. 8 extra gems. And in second place, by a small margin, it won by only 2, is the yellow team. Yellow team, you get 4 gems. All right? So add in, guys. Blue is 8 gems. Yellow, by winning by only 2 votes, 4 gems. Give me a total, guys. Give me a total of how much gems you have so far. Guys, you can still have 0. Guys, if you have 0 gems, please stay at home. Do not attempt to cross the road at any point in time today. Today is not today. Right? Today is not today. Stay home. Stay home. All right. All right. All right. Now, I want everyone to take down this question for homework. And I'm going to work it out now. But take it down now. See if you can give yourself a little bit of practice. Right? Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Right? Just had to say one thing. Right. We clearly have a lot of extra space for the program, right? The Zoom platform alone has space for about 300, close to 300 people. If you have any friends, any family members, anybody, classmates, if a teacher willing to send the students to this program, I want to give away all the spaces. It doesn't make no sense. I pay so much money for the Zoom platform and the space being wasted, okay? This is my number, guys. 1-868-712-2652. Anybody who wants to join, send them my number and tell them just WhatsApp me and say fish. That's all you had to say, fish. And that way I know the recommendation came from you and they will be added to the program instantly and get all the recordings, right? So guys, after you take down the question, you're free to leave, but help me out now. Still begging for a little help here, right? I don't want the money to go to waste because the Zoom platform, was we had to pay money to get the people here, right? To host it. All I want to make sure is that the space isn't wasted. Okay? Right, just say fish, and you'll get the Zoom link one time. Timetable, Zoom link, recordings, everything. Instant add. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed today's class, and I hope you all collected enough gems. Next week, we have another game to play, another different set of teams, and I hope you all enjoy it next week. Oh, see a lot of you all tomorrow, and some of you have English right after, right, at 11:30. Make sure and come all your classes. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out.